Welcome to the Fanatical Elfz Show, part of the Elfz Network. We are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bringing you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. Hey, good evening, welcome. Thursday night, it's the Fanatical Elfz Show here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. I'm John Suchan. Right over there is Steve Gill. And down there is our man, Sam Britton from Dallas, Texas. I was talking about you, Sam, today with my students at school. I had a couple kids looking at our Fanatical Elfz Network, and I mentioned you because they were asking about you and your cowboy hat. So I talked you up a little bit, said you're a fellow podcaster. You do a great job. You have the Browns breakdowns. Steve Gill has his Dog Pound South show. Of course, Sam's down there in Dallas. Steve is up there in Nashville. Sam, what's the weather like there in Texas?
Oh, brilliant. We had a high of about 38 a few days ago. Our Saturday high is going to be 95 degrees. So
holy moly.
The normal March weather here in Texas, mostly just the South in general, it feels like. But it's been a shockingly calm beginning of the raining season. We've had a lot of wind. We had some really bad wind about a week ago where it was like 30 or 40 miles an hour, maybe more. I wasn't exactly looking it up, but it was some pretty rough wind. Watching people drive was very entertaining as they get blown off the lanes. But no, it's warming up. It'll be close to 100 on Saturday, which I'm not exactly excited about. So I'm going to enjoy these last few days of cooler weather before it gets too hot.
Yes. Oh, I have some stories about the wind for us here in the Buckeye State. Steve, how are you today in Nashville?
Doing great today. Right now it's 71. It's pleasant. Monday night, Tuesday morning, we had a hard freeze. And believe me, it was cold. And Sunday, it's going to get up to about, differing opinions, anywhere between 87 to 90 degrees. And then cold front will be in the 60s on Monday. But, that's just like Sam said, that's welcome to the South.
Yes. Well,
we'll probably have a couple more hard freezes before tax day.
We had snow.
Always do.
Well, and how is the tax season going?
It's going.
You still got about a month?
Well, there comes a point during my tax season where I get a little frustrated and I feel like I should be climbing a tall building with a high-powered rifle. And today was one of those days. But I don't. After all these, 35 years, I still don't climb that tower with a high-powered rifle. But it crosses my mind.
Well, good luck. I know it's why you're still kind of in the thick of it. So
I am in the thick of it. Right now till probably about
end of April 1st of May,
because of the stupid postmark rules.
Okay.
2 days off my end of my tax season. So
Oh, okay.
I had to have everything done 2 days early.
The weather here, we had snow on Sunday. It's about an inch of snow in the Monday, I think it was. Friday, I was up in Cleveland. I live down here in Columbus. And that's wind that Sam speaks of. We had it here. It was almost like a cyclone. And the winds were reported up at the lakeshore in Cleveland at 85 miles per hour. I was inside covering the MAC tournament for the basketball. And I didn't really experience much of the wind. Even when I left Cleveland and downtown, it wasn't too bad. But when I got south of downtown and my ride back to, that night I went back to Worcester, it got really nasty. And Sam, like you said, I was getting pushed around. And I lived out in Kansas for 26 years. So the unfortunate part, and Steve, you'll appreciate this, many people here in Columbus, including ourselves, my wife, lost power at our house, and it went out about 4:00 on Friday. We got ours back about 25 hours later at about 5:30 the next day. But we had we lost a few. We didn't have a lot in our fridge, but there were a few things that we had to part ways with. But there were people that were without power for a good 2-3 days here, which wasn't like you had, but I thought of you with your experience from a few
Crazy.
weeks ago, a couple months ago. Yeah. So
Still trying to catch up.
right. It's a lot. So it amazes me, Steve, Sam, like, and I know Sam, you live out in Texas, but I know we're talking about the weather here, but it's amazing that like the infrastructure, how like here in Ohio, I think I've lost power more times in the small amount of time I've lived here than I have in the 26 years that I lived in Kansas with all the wind. I think maybe is it the trees, right? Is that the wires and the trees probably have
Yeah,
a
yeah, that's utilities or homeowners are supposed to cut trees, the limbs away from power lines.
not unlike your neighbor.
Yeah, that day we had heavy duty winds. I was watching that tree.
Yes.
So yeah,
Well,
because my wife and I just cleaned up the backyard last weekend. We're going to finish tomorrow.
it's a lot of
Pile
work.
some more branches in the alley from the branches that I cleaned up the last time.
Yeah.
The city still hasn't come out and picked up, but we have a dead end alley, so it's
Okay.
it'll take a smaller vehicle for them to back down the alley and knock it out. But hey, I'll contact them. Come and get it.
Yeah. So the Brownies, getting back to football here, we've had kind of a slow week, modestly. You know, free agency
Well,
has
there's
been
signs
going.
of people.
There's been a few people. Yeah, I wanted to get into that. By the way, good luck to Jerome Ford, running back for the Brownies, who signed with the Washington Commanders this past week. So that's a parting ways with Jerome Ford, who we thought one time would be maybe the guy after Nick Chubb, but now we've got Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson.
The year that Nick Chubb got hurt, he did extremely well.
He did. So good luck to him. Wyatt Teller signed with Texans, Houston. I believe, right? Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of Houston, Sam, I don't know if you remember, you were old enough, but Steve is, the Houston Astrodome. Have you heard, I don't know if you've heard this story, Steve, but my colleague that writes for Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders, Natalie, she has a TikTok thing that she does live, and she's had a couple guests on, including Kenny Lofton, and then last night she had Bernie Kosar. And so I tuned in for a little bit and listened to Bernie, and Bernie had lots of stories. And one of the funnier stories that he shared was back in the 80s when they played down in Houston against the Oilers. A lot of times these old stadiums would have like rock concerts and different things like the day before a football game sometimes. And in this case in Houston, Sam, they had a rodeo in the Houston Astrodome. So Bernie was talking about how he'd get a staph infection because he'd get skinned up and he'd slide through like horse or manure down there on the we're on the field of play and stuff like that. And then he was starting to talk about stories, Steve, down at our municipal stadium up in Cleveland. And after, concerts they'd have there, like he said, there was a Pink Floyd concert one year. He said, you wouldn't believe the things that they found the day after, right, at these concerts. So shout out to Bernie Kosar. Bernie's been recovering, had some health things here and there, but he's in a good spirits, and I'm glad he's able to share stories with friends of ours like Natalie there with Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders. So, okay, so the Browns, Steve, fill us in a little bit, Sam, on some of these moves. I know we mentioned off air they did pick up some special teamer guy. You want to
veteran special teamers?
Yeah.
The big question was, why did the special teams fall apart last year? Some people blamed the talent, some people blamed the coaching. So they said the talent was too young, which it was. A bunch of them were undrafted rookie free agents. So knowing Andrew Berry, who when he fixes something, he fixes something. So they got rid of the coach, brought a brand new coach, and now they're signing a bunch of veterans, special teamers. The safety they used to play for the Lions and the Jaguars. He's a special teams ace, so I'm very happy. And plus, he can play your third or fourth safety.
What is his name?
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
It's not Wallace, is it?
No. Wallace is the punt returner.
Okay.
who used to play for the Ravens. You know,
That's
these
right.
guys, they are veteran special teams players. I mean, their biggest
Is
bugaboo.
it sorry, Steve, is it Daniel Thomas?
Daniel Thomas, thank
Yes.
you.
Job,
Yeah, this
Sam.
guy is really, really good special teams player, and he's not a bad safety. They still need another veteran safety, but you know, now they're putting veteran
I really,
special teamers out
yeah.
there, which is, you know, let's
The
fix
guy,
this problem.
well, the other guy, and Sam, you maybe heard this guy, that Steve, I think you just mentioned his name, the
Tylen
new
Wallace.
defensive end,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Espenza.
Espenza from the
Yeah,
Buffalo Bills.
AJ Epson. Yeah, I don't know.
What I noticed right away is the kid's got 25 sacks in his career, and
Yeah,
they were talking about how he's, you know, to me that just speaks upgrade from the guy they got rid of, this Brian Thomas or whatever.
Cameron.
Cameron. He
Thomas.
didn't have
The guy
nearly,
who jumped. Yeah,
the guy that didn't had nearly the. I mean, they had actually, if you look at both these players side by side, they have similar years experience, and I like it. I like the move.
but Espenza, whatever his name is, has better win rate. He's got like 11.2% win rate, which is better than Isaiah McGuire. So it's a 1-year deal. It's always, Andrew Berry loves his 1-year deals. Bring in a veteran guy and, you know, see what happens.
What is this proposal that the Browns came up with this past week at the owners meeting about pushing out more draft picks?
The owners meeting is this week.
Okay.
And this goes for the competition committee. Right now, you can trade draft picks 3 years in advance, and the Browns want to push it back to 5 years. And, you know, of course, everybody is panicking and clutching their pearls. But if you want to trade 2 or 3 first-round draft picks for a player, you can do this next year and the year after, and maybe a couple of years down the road.
Yeah.
You don't have to do consecutive 3 years, you know, like they did with
Deshaun
Watson. You can kind of stretch it out a little bit. You can maybe give away a first next year, and then the year after, and then have your first round pick for 2 years, and then draft and then trade a first round pick for 5 years in the future. So yeah, it doesn't handicap. I don't really see any big deal about it.
Well, let me ask you this. I just want to interject this, and Sam, maybe if you want to comment too, if you have any thoughts here on this. There's this. Some people in La La Land are speculating that part of this, and then the Browns bringing in an edge rusher. Some people have been saying this week, "Oh, is Andrew Berry getting ready to make a huge trade like of Myles Garrett?" I mean, I've even heard this in the National, and you know, people are writing crap too about this. Like,
they want you to click on it.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Sam? What do you think about any? I mean, I think it's ridiculous, but what's your take on?
Probably kind of crazy as well. They don't have a lot to talk about. I mean, they're just gonna throw anything out here. They're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna trade Deshaun Watson for the entire Chargers offensive line. Like, I don't know about that, but we need things to talk about. So yeah, I think it's probably very unlikely. I like what they've done. Honestly, if we didn't sign anyone else until the draft, I'd be pretty happy. I think this has been a solid off season. We've got some good pickups on special teams. Offensive line looks revamped. You know, some pieces that maybe won't be like the star of the show, but they work the cables. You know, they work these little things that make the show go on. They just aren't the star, the spotlight kind of guy. And so I think what we've done is very good. I think this is what you need to start if you want to think maybe next year's draft is where you find that quarterback you're hunting for, or maybe you think Shadur is that guy, right? And so if you're trying to build a foundation for next year's draft, you think you're not going to be very good and you're going to pick up a quarterback, this is a good start. If you think Shadur is going to be that guy, this is also a very good start. And so I think they're setting themselves up for success, especially if they get a good draft out of the next few months.
I like that they brought, Steve.
And these offensive line guys, I mean, everybody keeps referring to individual Pro Football Focus ratings, which doesn't apply to offensive linemen. These guys are all good football players. They will.
Yeah, you talked about adaptability and flexibility.
Adaptability and durability.
Yeah.
And they will, when they learn to work together, they will make the offensive line play better. That's the most important thing. These guys will, as a cohesive group, will play better. So, my only concern is left tackle. Yeah, sure, you can get one in the draft. I'm still, I like DeJuan Jones, but again, he's being told to lose 30 pounds. Seems like an annual thing with him.
Yeah.
Lose 30 pounds. Well, how about you just keep off the 30 pounds?
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put much trust in him.
So they've got
I don't know what they're going to do. I still keep hearing they're not done yet. That's what I heard.
Zion Johnson is the one guy. Jenkins is the other guy they'd picked up in free agency.
Elton Jenkins and Titus Howard.
Titus Howard is who they traded
and they
for.
re-signed Tevin Jenkins. And
Correct.
they still have
yeah.
DeJuan Jones, and they still have Luke Whippler, and they still have KT Levinston.
Yeah.
Who, as he played during the season, I started to become a fan of. As you know, at the beginning of the season, I thought he was a waste of space. But then he outplayed Cam Robinson, which, everybody thought, well, Cam Robinson, former first-round draft pick, he'll be pretty good. He sucked. I still think you could pick up another center. This is a very good draft for centers. Not only for centers, but for good offensive tackles, not day one starter offensive tackles. So that's why I think they still need a veteran tackle.
Let's talk about the draft and some of the other questions, the things that you've just said right after this break. We'll be right back. Thanks for coming back to the Fanatical Elfz Network, our show on Thursday nights. That's Steve Gill. That's Sam Britton. I'm John Suchan. Thanks for buying some amazing Hemisphere Coffee Roasters coffee. They shake the hand of the farmer. Check out the link on our X page. It's amazing. I'm telling you, it's really good coffee. They're a little company up there, and they actually have a factory. You can go in and do a tour. They got food. They got snacks. They got souvenirs, all sorts of fun things.
And it's Samuel endorsed.
I know a lot about the Hemisphere Coffee Roasters.
I bet you did. Sam, we need to ship some down there to you. I think you would really like it.
Yeah,
I think your family would really like it. So let me ask you this. If we shift a little bit to the draft conversation, I wanted to, one person I wanted to ask you about, and I know he's kind of the hot name, or not, clearly you're searching for, people are talking about anything right now. The conversation I've heard on ESPN, Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama, I think he's being tied to the Jets more than he is the Browns. But there's conversation with Cleveland fans about this Ty Simpson or Sampson. Is it Simpson from Alabama? Anyway,
I think we know who you're talking about.
Where do you fall with this kid? People are talking about him now being a first-round draft pick, all of this, and they're showing stats on the board showing all the other previous, some of these quarterbacks who've had very little, playing experience. I just don't think this kid's had enough time. But Sam, what do you think about this Simpson guy?
Definitely not first round. Definitely maybe very low second, like 58th. Probably mid third is where you'd put him, to be honest. He's gonna just sit on the bench for a year or two, and maybe he'll show up and be good. We've seen quarterbacks before. I think the problem with these quarterbacks now is NIL money is really making it hard for you to understand what a quarterback's going to do. Because if you look back 20 years ago, quarterbacks were there. They were there freshman, sophomore, junior, and maybe senior. You had 4 years of the same structure, usually the same coach, somewhat the same players. Obviously there's some coming off, but somewhat the same core. And then you got to watch all 4 years and see how he does. With this, you could see him freshman. They could be Oregon. Then they could be sophomore and junior. They could be part of Notre Dame. And then for the last year, they go to Utah. And you're like, I've seen so many different variations. Now, maybe you can say that's a positive because you get to see them adapt to different playing styles, different teams, different coaches, different structures, sure. But I think you get more knowledge seeing them play at one team for 4 years than 3 teams for 4 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
I think Ty Simpson, if you spend a 4th round pick on him, sure. I mean, might as well try it out, right? You've got Shadur, but after Shadur, who do you even have? So you might as well throw someone in there. But anything higher than a 4th, if you're the Browns, is a waste of a pick.
Steve, thoughts on this?
Well, they have always shown and have always kept tabs on Drew Aller, Penn State, and he had his pro day the other day, and he threw the ball well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns rolled the dice day 3 on him, if they want to. Right now, last year's draft was bad for quarterbacks. This year, you could say it's bad, but it's more unproven. That would be the word I would use for this year's quarterback draft. And Sam's right. These guys are gonna have to spend time sitting on a bench. There's nobody in this draft. Mendoza is going to be forced to start, and with the money that the Raiders have paid, I don't know if he's going to be an instant success. Yeah, he's played well, but he struggled against really bad teams in college. So, none of these quarterbacks besides him should be a round 1 or a round 2 draft pick for that matter.
Yeah, I don't buy it. I just look at the lack of experience, and I'm with you. The Aller kid, I did an article for Dog Pound Daily not too long ago, Drew Aller, and I agree. I think if he's there in that 4th round or 5th round of the draft, I think he would be an excellent pickup. He's a big kid. There's some upside there. He had some injuries. There was a lot of talk about him coming out, originally early, and then he didn't, and then he stayed and he got hurt. And, he's got something to prove, but he's from here. He's from Ohio. He's from Medina. He had season tickets. I mean, I like the kid. I like the background. I think it would be, he's not going to be Bernie Kosar maybe, but I like the opportunity there. So I'm personally hoping that during the draft, the Browns consider it.
Well, let's see what they do with a veteran. They still need to bring a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, who's out there? How do we get this?
I mean, Deshaun Watson isn't going to play. And right now, Shadur Sanders needs to fix his recognition. He needs to learn to run defense. And, God, he's got to fix his footwork. I've been watching games from last year. His footwork is terrible. Oh, my God, it's lousy. And Dylan Gabriel, he's got to play to overcome his disadvantages. I mean, the fact that he's shorter, he doesn't have a huge cannon arm, and he's left-handed. If he can overcome those, he could be a damn good NFL quarterback. But that's up to him up here.
Yeah.
And like I said, Deshaun Watson isn't going to play this year. Besides what you hear from everybody.
But everybody else is saying it's Shadur versus Deshaun Watson. That's what everybody's decided.
It's Shadur versus a veteran quarterback they bring in.
Right now, it's Shadur versus like a ghost. He's not fighting anyone at this moment.
Yeah, that's true.
The only thing he's really battling is himself. If he can,
exactly.
Back to real quick, Joel Bitonio. Steve, you and I talked about this last week. What have you heard anything in the weeds?
He's a free agent.
Right. Okay.
And I read an article from our favorite guy, Jack Duffin.
Yes.
And he explained how dead cap isn't a bad thing. It can be a positive thing. And it made perfect sense. Dead cap is money already spent.
Correct.
You can't spend it again.
Correct.
So
the dead cap, yeah, you're okay.
It's already money that's gone. It's gone. You bought something, you've already spent the cash, but you can't.
So have you changed your tune on Joel Bitonio because you were a little pissed last week?
I don't care. I hope he'll probably get sign a contract with a contender. He won't start right now. It's a little late for that. If starting guards have already gotten their money. So, but he might go out west, maybe sign with the Rams or the Chargers, and he'll be a number 2 guard, and he'll have a chance to get his ring, which is more power to him.
Thanks, Jeffrey, for following us here and watching us here, either on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're coming. Or YouTube, it looks like. He says Russell Wilson, Kirk
Nope.
Cousins, Derek Carr.
Nope.
They're great if you want to get the number 1 overall pick next year.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's your goal, then absolutely sign these guys.
Yeah.
These are your tankathon quarterbacks.
Now, he also talks about this guy who I'm not very familiar with, DJ
I am.
Lagway, Florida kid.
No quarterback in this draft really, I think, is worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're going to spend a day 3 pick on them, I think the only quarterback.
So, who do the Browns really target then? Are we looking? Who's left in free agency?
Well, they can still trade for somebody.
I saw the Kansas City Chiefs traded for Justin Fields, like a 7th round pick or whatever. So
that means Jameis Winston is staying with the Jets. I mean, do you really think the Arizona Cardinals are going to go in the season with Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback? Really? Do you really think that?
Probably not.
Exactly.
So who are they going to bring in?
I don't know. That's not my problem. Also, the Red Rifle got traded up to Philly, which makes people think that their backup, Tanner McKee, might be available. But he's an interesting prospect. He's like 6'6".
What about Will Howard? Can we grab him from Pittsburgh?
Why?
I don't know. This is a prospect.
You already got 2 prospects on the roster.
I know. I just threw that name out there for the heck of it. I do think they really liked what he did last year. Are we talking about?
I don't know.
You're talking about this DJ Lagway? Okay, Jeffrey.
I've seen enough SEC football. Believe me.
I mean, if you have
it
a
every
5th
damn
round pick,
weekend.
if you have a 5th round pick that you don't have anyone else you want to pick up, sure, take a chance.
Take a chance on me.
I think I'd much rather. I think every pick should go to either offensive line or wide receiver. I really think maybe some defense, but I really think you want to get this offensive line and these wide receivers so that if you do find anyone in the next few years as your quarterback, if it should someone in the future, that they already have a structure they can come into.
Let me come back to this. Okay, so let's spin it back to the offense real quick because we're talking about these draft picks the Browns have, the 6th and the 24th. A lot of people are trying to now figure out where the Browns what they could do with it and trade out. The conversation, I know, Steve, you mentioned this. We talked about it again last week. You talked about your own podcast. I think, Sam, you've talked about Carnell Tate. If he's there at 6, Steve, you said last week, I'd run to the podium and I'd
I would. Either him or the Lemon kid from USC. Those 2 guys are probably the only 2 wide receivers who I think are 1st round values. They're 1st round wide receiver picks. The other ones have questions. He's injured so much, Sam.
Which one?
He had a hamstring injury at the combine.
Which one?
I was seeing that. So I think he's definitely risky.
The brother of the Cavs player.
Oh, I don't want him. No, I mean, people are talking about
injured all the time.
He had a broken collarbone player, and I'm not a big fan of Tyson.
And he had a broken collarbone as a sophomore.
Okay.
ACL Giants, problems.
I mean, it's going to be either the Giants or the Titans who are going to pick Tate, in my opinion.
Well, that's what Jeffrey's.
You got to give. Think about the Giants, though. Think about Neighbors and Tate on either side of the field. I mean, that's a really.
Oh, that would be.
For
and
Jackson
then you got
Dart.
And who's their quarterback now? Oh, Dart.
I mean, that would be really gross to have Tate and Neighbors on either side.
That would be pretty impressive.
That would be very good for the Giants.
I mean, none of these tackles, even Monroe Freeling, everybody said, "Where does he come? Where did he come from?" Well, nobody heard about him before the season was over because everybody assumed he was going to go back to school.
Yeah.
At Georgia. They thought he'd go back to Georgia for 1 more year. But then when he announced for the draft, he's good, but he's not a day 1 starter. None of them are.
No.
So if somebody like Lamu or Fano are sitting there at 24, I grab them. These are two right tackles that you can move to the left side. They have the skills to do it. And another thing I've noticed in all these pro days, everybody's getting bigger and their arms are getting longer. The combine used to be the gold standard in measurement. Now they've shorted everybody.
Yeah.
Now they're in front of pro scouts getting measured at their pro days, and their arms are longer, their hands are bigger, they're taller. It's weird.
Now, this week I live here in Columbus, and I listen to Sports Radio 97.1. Good stuff. Got good guys on there. They have a variety of takes, and the two guys I listen to in the morning, one of the guys' name is Tyvis Powell. He used to play for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yep.
He is he splits his time between, he does some radio here in Columbus. He also does some radio up in Cleveland. And I appreciate his opinion because he played in the league a little bit. Wasn't the greatest of ball players, but he's got some background. He's played with a lot of players and veterans. Anyway, he was talking about the Browns and this debate about the number 6 and 24 and what you just said, Steve. And do the Browns, at 6 is Freeling, this
Monroe
project,
Freeling.
And Tate, and he was leaning earlier in the week because he's been, his conversations that he was talking to people in the building up in Cleveland, he's leaning right now. His opinion was that the Browns are leaning to taking this tackle, if it's Freeling or whoever the other guys are that you've mentioned. But that's how he felt the other day. Now that could change. That's a concern of mine. I think it's a concern of yours, and I don't know about you, Sam, but taking that project, he's going to have to work at it. This Freeling guy, if they take him, he could, the Browns could just maybe trade out of 6 if they. That's the other part of this conversation. Do they just go ahead and trade out of it? Because that's what
Why? Because they did last year.
Well, and that's what I'm asking. I mean,
that's everybody's reasoning for them trading down. It's because they did it last year. Well, you don't do the same thing every year. No? I hate to tell you this. Well, what if they have a draft day deal to acquire a starting tackle?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what happens when the draft is over. Veterans start getting cut. So maybe they know of some team that's going to cut somebody, and they make a draft day deal. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, the only people that do know what's going to happen at the draft are sitting in Berea right now, and they're not talking to anybody because they never do.
No,
nobody heard of that round 1 draft day trade last year except for one national reporter, and I can't remember who. I wish I could, because on draft day he said, I'm hearing there's going to be a trade in the top 10. And he didn't know the teams. He didn't know what was going on. But all he said was, I'm hearing there's a day 1, a top 10 trade happening on the first day of the draft. And then one guy had heard it. So, everybody's talking, well, they could do this, they can do that. Well, you don't know, and you won't know.
We don't know. But just for the fun of it, Sam, let me ask you this question. Just you're the Browns, you do what you want, Sam, right here. Like you're the guy who's going to be making the picks. Tell me what you would do. And you've studied some of these guys in the draft. You know what the Browns need. If you were the one doing it, how would you go about this? Would you keep the 6 and the 24? What would be your strategy, maybe?
Yeah, I think, frankly, you're rebuilding. You keep the 2 picks. Now, it depends on what the 22 gets you. If there's a team that's like, all right, like, Broncos, right? They think they're one piece away from the Super Bowl, right? Like what they did with the Dolphins receiver. If a team thinks they're one piece away and they think that piece is around the 24, and they're willing to give up things, you might be able to overcharge them, and you might be able to get a second or next year's second, things like that. Then maybe you take that offer. But I think you're building a foundation. You're looking at what I've kind of coined as the 2030 plan. Like, you're going to spend these next few years trying to build that team so that in the first years of the 2030s, you can just pick your quarterback. You find whatever quarterback comes up, you slot him in, boom, you're now a contender. And because you have that, like the 49ers route, you just have a team so good you can put anyone in there and they'll win you 12 games. And
Mm-hmm.
I think to pull the 49ers route, now you might not have a Shanahan who might have to have done a lot for that team, but if you pull the 49ers route, you want talent. You want 6, you want 24, you want as many picks as you can get because you want as many talented, good, solid stars that you
What
can get across the board.
What do they have after the first round? Does anybody know the numbers that they have, like in the second, third
39.
round?
I think it's
39.
39 or yeah,
Okay.
39 or 34, I think.
Okay. Steve, what would you
Let
think?
me Google.
If are you in the same? I mean, would you keep that? I mean, I know we don't know, but would you, if you had the opportunity, would you stay like Sam's doing and just take?
Yeah, it's
6 and
39.
24?
39. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, right off the bat, that's what I would do. I mean, it depends on what you get with the first pick, and how the draft falls. There's usually a run on a certain position group. You can almost guarantee that. Probably it'd be defensive, probably cornerbacks, because there's always a run on cornerbacks.
Yeah,
because you can never have enough cornerbacks. Well, you can't.
no.
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeffrey,
But,
for participating.
Yes, thank you.
We
But
appreciate
yeah,
your
I
time.
would, Sam makes a good point. As you get later into day one, and those are the teams down in that area that made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And there are legitimate GMs that think they're only one piece away from winning everything, although the turnover rate for teams who make the playoffs is extraordinary. It's almost 50% of the teams who made the playoffs last year won't make the playoffs next year. So, you could probably make a good deal for a player, and especially if the group of players that you have first round grades, if they start dropping and you see an opportunity like Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit was supposed to be a first round pick. They traded down in the second round, like 3 picks, and they still got Grant Delpit.
Yes.
So that kind of situation.
I like that.
But I definitely, but if you're thinking about the salary cap, of course, Jack Duffin tells you if you go from 6 to 12, you save about $12 million.
See, and that's interesting. Yeah. I mean,
but they're not worried about the cap. I mean, they got a hell of an adjustment. 17.8 million up. 5 million was Deshaun's insurance, and the rest was bonuses that weren't earned by the players. And I could name probably 3 players that earned bonuses last year. The rest of them didn't even come close. Well, I guarantee you, Jerry Jeudy didn't earn any bonuses last year.
Before we leave, I want to let you guys give your final thoughts on tonight or the takes of the week. And I know everyone's keeping their eye, and the draft is a little bit over a month away. It's exciting about that. The Browns, by the way, released that they're going to have a draft party in downtown Cleveland at the old Cleveland Auditorium. I think that might be where the Cleveland Charge basketball team play. They're going to have they've invited season ticket holders and other Browns fans to come to that. Free tickets. So if you're not doing anything Thursday night for the first round of the draft, last year, if you remember, if you're a Browns fan and you were a season ticket holder, the group Journey came to the stadium and had a rock concert, and fans came. I was there with our colleagues here for the Fanatical Elfz, so that was a lot of fun. So before I let you guys go, I want to get your thoughts, but I did write an article recently. We're talking about other teams. I see that Jeffrey's talking about the Eagles.
They are lucky.
Yeah, we had an article I did this week about the Steelers and the Browns. There was an opinion piece by one of the ESPN reporters about why he thinks that our Squealers, our friends of the East, are going to struggle with their new head coach, and primarily because they haven't really identified a quarterback. They have the aging wonder, possibly Aaron Rodgers coming back, who's 42 years old and going to be 43. So the article was basically suggesting that, Browns fans are excited because the Steelers could potentially not have a winning season over the last 22 years. They've always
You
had
say potentially like they're gonna win this season.
right. So it was a
Well, it's the same
positive
thing
piece.
if you're accused of a crime, you've got to say allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
allegedly they're gonna win more than
it's
6 games.
fun. I mean, we're desperate as Browns fans. We're gonna find anything, and so the fact that I wrote this article about, where Browns fans are celebrating because the Steelers
Well,
might not have a winning record.
The whole AFC North. I mean, Baltimore has got so many damn holes. No wonder they backed out of that trade. And Cincinnati hasn't signed or drafted two effective pass rushers since 2012. And they draft a pass rusher every year. The guy that they drafted last year, how'd he do? Do we even remember who his name was?
Cincinnati's real. They're such a weird team. It feels like they are.
You described their defense as a bunch of 12-year-olds last year, Sam.
They have like a top 5 quarterback in the entire NFL, and they've done absolutely nothing with it since that Super Bowl.
How long is it until Joe Burrow says you're going to have to trade me?
I do think he broke up with his girlfriend though. So that's
if they win like 5 or 6 games this year, Joe Burrow has to start considering it. He can't be like he could commit. He's like a top 5.
See, now this is where I would love, here's the deal. Like for me, like if the Browns somehow, and I love Shador, but if there was some opportunity, I'm dead serious, and I mean Joe Burrow coming to Cleveland to be the Browns quarterback would, like, oh my God, with the Browns defense, amazing. That would just be like, holy crap. Like that would
be unbelievably expensive, but yeah, you probably wouldn't have draft picks till like 2064, but
maybe that's why they want to push him from 3 years to.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Steve.
Let's start a rumor.
I know people are speculating rumors. Oh man,
there's going to come a time when Joe Burrow finally, like Sam says, I'm too young for this. I'm getting my butt kicked every year, and the defense sucks.
You need to get out of that hellhole.
Two of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You don't live
in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati. Bull crap. So
I like
all they got there in Cincinnati is their chili, and it's gross by some standards.
But the only difference, Jeffrey, is the white Mike Tomlin doesn't have winning seasons.
Exactly.
Yes. It is a
20 years ago, that would have been a good hiring. 20 years ago. Yeah. He is like this year's version of Pete Carroll.
Yes. What about this one here? He suggests that Washington is looking to trade up to get Jeremy Love.
They're saying they like Jeremiah Love, so people will trade up. I'm here in Nashville. The Titans just love Jeremiah Love, and they want to put him in the backfield for Cam Ward. So that's where Jeremiah Love is. If he's there at 4, boom, he's going to be a Tennessee Titan.
What if he's there for the Browns? I know that we have a running game.
No, you don't take him. But you say you're going to take him.
Right. That's what I'm. Right. Okay. Oh, man. All right.
No, we really love that Jeremiah Love.
Sam, what do you got? Anything you want to share out before we let the good folks go home?
Not really, no. It's slow. I'm excited for the draft.
Hey, we've talked for 44 minutes. This is pretty good considering it's slow.
Yeah, not bad.
Considering it's March Madness is going on.
Yeah,
yes, by the way, North Carolina's up on VCU by 14. Okay.
Michigan State has made it, so hopefully we
go Sparties.
I hope they'll make it to the Elite 8. It would be fun, but we'll see.
Vanderbilt.
Anchor down.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve, anything else?
They get Nebraska next, who was placed. Nebraska should have never been a 4 seed. I'm sorry.
Isn't it funny though to think? I mean, I know Nebraska is considered a really good football, or they've had good football over the decades. But I heard something. Was this their first NCAA win in basketball? Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. It was. They put out mini fridges like the Browns did. Victory refrigerators.
What's hilarious about that, and you guys can probably appreciate this, and people that follow basketball, especially if you lived out west where we did in Kansas and Texas and these places. I mean, Nebraska when it comes to basketball, like Kansas, if you go up to Nebraska, I mean, it's like Kansas in these places. I mean, everybody's playing hoops. The high school games up in Nebraska are great, great, great athletes. They all, are very competitive. So the fact that Nebraska hasn't won a NCAA game is just blows my mind. When someone said that, I was
Well,
listening to the radio here in Columbus, and they mentioned it. I'm like, are you kidding me? So
how often do they make the tourney?
right, no,
Not
exactly.
very often. That would keep you from winning a game if you if you don't make the tournament. It's kind of required. You've got to actually play in the tournament.
See,
But
now
yeah, they had their
yeah.
little victory fridges, so now they all opened them up.
Well, here in Columbus,
Hopefully the players will start drinking before Saturday's game against Vanderbilt.
see now here with the Buckeyes, all I hear about is the Buckeyes. They're actually supposed to be, from what I've gathering, remodeling the OSU Schottenstein Center, which is where they play the basketball games. They're supposed to be putting some sort of dome on the location and making it kind of a destination location. Everybody's building these destinations, where you can come and be entertained. It's not just a ballpark.
By the way, I'm a big Ohio State fan, and I follow them, and I watched the game. I had sound off while I was doing tax returns. But going into that game, I could have told you they were going to lose. I mean, lately, Ohio State first round, bye-bye. So they have.
Yeah.
They were favored last year, and they got bounced in the first round. So, but anyway, last thoughts. Browns aren't done. They're still going to find players. They're fixing the special teams, people. You can say, well, why do they need more defense? Well, these are special teams players. And if you didn't watch the special teams last year, they need a better special teams players. Veterans who know how to cover kicks and punts. So I heard that. He's right.
Jeffrey is, if you listen to us later on Apple or Spotify, you can listen to us on anywhere you listen to your podcast. He says that Joe Burrow was sounding like Andrew Luck last year. It seemed like he was going to retire early. He was sounding very depressed for a young 20-some-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He certainly got hit in the head a lot.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey mentions the expansion.
Vegas and Seattle.
Is that a done deal then? Is that what
we're seeing this? Looks like we're going to have the Seattle Supersonics again.
Nice. Well, my daughter's in Seattle. I love Seattle. It's a great town. So I look forward to, I actually thought about buying some Seattle Sonic gear because they've been selling that gear still, even though they don't have a team. And they have a really good women's team there too. I've gone to a game over there in the WNBA. By the way, side note here, completely different from basketball or football, but I do want your thoughts on this real quickly. I don't know if you caught this, but the WNBA has a new bit. Now, the WNBA is basically being paid by the NBA. So I hope people understand that the WNBA only survives because the NBA is filthy rich. The WNBA has no money, but they survive. And part of this interesting new agreement, I don't know if you saw this, but the rookie salary, Sam, if you're a women's basketball player, your first year as a rookie, the league minimum last year was $66,000.
I did see this.
And now, Sam, get this. You should learn how to play basketball. It's gone from $66,000 up to $300,000. I told my wife that the other day. She's like, "What? Like that's like a $500,000 or 500% increase. It's pretty good gig." I'm like, "Well, the WNBA isn't paying for it. The NBA is paying for that." So
sure. Well, now they've got these players who, Angel Reese and who's the girl that
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, that Angel Reese hates. So you're getting this Detroit bad boy vibe from Angel Reese. So LSU.
Oh yeah. Well, the other one I don't like. The other one is that Sarah or the Cunninghams.
The Cunningham, the Sarah Cunningham.
She's an idiot. Just a complete.
Well, she's making a ton of money on commercials.
Yes. Well,
more power to her. So what John is saying, get your girl, if you have a daughter in high school, get her into the gym and teach her how to play basketball.
Thank you, Thank you. That's great, Steve.
True.
Thanks again.
I mean, it won't do any of us any good because,
No.
well,
No, we
Yeah.
we missed our moment to shine. Maybe, well,
we
maybe
have
you
a
haven't,
part
Sam.
two. We
but-
have a part
yeah.
too many. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not gonna happen.
All right, guys, have a very good evening. Thanks again for listening to us or watching us live here on the Fanatical Elves Network. Coming up next at 9:00, Rod Bloom and his brother Jeff are going to have their show. By the way, I will just, all I will say is this: they are going to have a very, 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 very special guest on
Ooh.
Saturday that many of you Browns fans know. So please tune back in to the Browns Blitz with Rod and his brother Jeff. I think they're gonna broadcast Saturday. We'll have more information if you're following us on our Twitter page or Facebook or YouTube. But it's a very special guest, and Rod told me that they have some also very important guests who work with the draft, the NFL draft, coming up over the next few weeks. So look forward to that. Steve Gill's got his Dog Pound South show coming up on Sunday
Watch
morning.
your language.
I know. And then Sam.
We're family friendly here.
Sam's got his Browns breakdowns coming up. Sam will do a show, but then notify me
the next day,
48
I'm in
hours
church.
later.
I'm sitting there on my phone at 10:40 or not 10:40, like 11:30 a.m. and I'm like, oh man, I didn't text about the show I did yesterday.
You're using your phone in church?
To take notes, yeah. Occasionally, I
Oh,
bring a notebook.
Good comeback. That's
Good catch.
This kid's smart. Yeah. Oh, I'm taking
Trust me.
notes.
Everybody, thanks again for listening to us. We'll talk to you all next week. Take care. Go Browns.
Go
Browns.
Browns. Music.